let's move into the meat of the show, which is our positional breakdown of first injuries and then waivers. At the quarterback position, the big story is the injury to Dak Prescott. My question to you, Tucker, is give us a quick summary of the injury and when he's expected to be back. Would you pick up his backup? And if you're not going to pick up his backup, who are some of the guys that you would target to get to hold over while Dak is out?
Yeah, it's a tough situation in Dallas because he got a thumb fracture on his throwing hand. He has to have surgery to repair it. Jerry Jones came out, minutes after the game was over and announced that he was going to be out several weeks. I think a trip to the IR is in store for him. That'll probably be announced sometime later in the week. As for using Cooper Rush as a backup, I just don't see the upside of that. He's not a typically mobile quarterback, which you tend to get if you have a mobile backup. That tends to help a little bit and raise the floor a little bit. And if you watch that Cowboys offense on Sunday night, they weren't really moving the ball with Dak Prescott. And maybe that's because Tampa Bay had a great game plan. Maybe they're missing Tyron Smith more than we thought initially. Maybe they're missing Amari Cooper or Michael Gallup because it was CeeDee Lamb and a whole lot of nothing on the outside as far as weaponry is concerned. But yeah, I don't view Cooper Rush as a viable backup or a viable starting option right now in any fantasy format.
Yeah, I am in no rush to pick up Cooper.
Well, there you go.
So, Curtis, in your article this week for Sharp Football, you have Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, and for home leagues, Justin Fields as the three quarterbacks that you are recommending. Can you talk about them, how much you're willing to spend on them? And then I have to ask you about a name that's not on this list.
Yeah, you bet. For those of you two that can see me, those aren't my eyes aren't red because I'm crying because of the Prescott injury. Those are allergies to our new cat, but we'll get that out of the way quickly. Yeah, it's going to be a week-to-week thing with the Dak streaming options. And this week, give me either Carson Wentz or Jared Goff. Both teams played with a top 10 neutral game script pace in week one. Both teams should be able to carve up the defense on the other side. So I'm good with either of those guys. How much am I spending? None. Minimum bids on both those guys. Just get one in your lineup and let's get to the next week. And as for Justin Fields, I was just surprised how well the offense, it's hard to put anything into that game in that weather, but I think they're going to be a lot better than I had anticipated. And he also brings that rushing floor, which is going to be major for scoring fantasy points.
The guy that I think you answered my question because he doesn't have a great week 2 matchup, but the guy that I'm very, very interested, he was the number 3 guy that I was taking on 3 quarterback teams in best ball. Typically that's a 20 round team, but a couple times in 18 round 2, Marcus Mariota scored 22 fantasy points. He's got that great rushing floor. He looked pretty good. Is the reason you didn't recommend Marcus Mariota the matchup this week? But I would say to people out there that if you've got an extra spot, Marcus Mariota, I think, is the cheapest of the Konami quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely consider him going forward, but it is matchup based, and I'm not sure how well they're going to do flying across the country against the Rams, who are going to be pretty pissed off after that first week disappointment. So that's the reason why with Dak missing some time, I'm going week to week if I'm streaming that option.